I'm sitting here looking at the clock, 20 seconds left, and we go where it's 0-0. We'd go to overtime, and I'm sitting here thinking, I can't stand up. If the ref sees it, he might just call it. I'm like, I don't want to lose. So, like I said, I went back, I tapped that Kimura, and I grabbed his ankle that he's holding me in lockdown, just tore on it as hard as I could, and he just scream tapped. I ended up, tearing his ankle.
Hey, coach, you ready for this? And you looked at me like, you looked intense. You're like, I'm going to win or I'm going to die on that mat. And I believed you. I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, hey, if he's in my corner backing me, I can take on anybody.
Anyone can become really good. We've got skinny little guys with no athleticism that submit everyone in the gym. We've got big heavyweights that are super flexible. I have thousands of people that have had great success under my tutelage, and I believe that's because I trained them as individuals. Get up and take one step. If that's all you got, at least you got up and you did one step. It has to start somewhere.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Get Healthy 406. I'm interviewing friends, families, and clients to see what their healthy habits are. Today, I have the honor to introduce and interview my coach, Will Grundhauser, owner of the Grindhouse. Him and his coaches have got me to number 4 ranking in the world in bare-knuckle fighting championship. So this could be a fun interview. So, Will, welcome aboard.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And just to let the people know, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Will Grundhauser. I'm a 5th generation Montanan, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai boxing coach, hobbyist miner. That's what I like to go do in my free time, is dig around the mountains.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, that's who I am. That's what I'm all about, is, building a huge community through fighting. It's just the mechanism that I'm happen to be really good at.
Yeah.
It's just a way I found to mentor and bring people together from different walks of life. And then, I get like the Dirty Heads song, like vacation. I'm always on vacation because I love what I do every single day.
There you go. I love it. How did the Grindhouse get started?
The name came, I was Will the Grinder Grundhauser when I was a fighter. My last name's Grundhauser. Like, that's how the name came about. But it was just a necessary step in, like, the growth of MMA in Montana. Before we trained at American Fusion Martial Arts with Terrell and fought in Fusion, the show, which was Terrell. And it just got to where everyone was busy doing their own thing. I was training the fighters and preparing myself to fight. Terrell was putting on the shows and started to spread out and do other cities, so it really just, he didn't have the time and I did. So just to make everything better and more focused, I decided I didn't buy his gym, I bought his equipment and started our own. And even that, it's, a lot of people don't know the actual history of it, is I didn't own the Grindhouse when it opened. I refused to, because I was like getting all these offers to go fight in different places. Like, Fabricio Verdum came to one of my my second title fight, I think, to see my jiu-jitsu and MMA, and I knocked the guy out in the first punch. He was pretty mad, but he had invited me to train in California with Blackhouse and his team he was starting. And then, I did have interviews with like Bellator Fight Master and UFC reality show, and I didn't like the industry at the time and where it was going, so.
Yeah, I remember these conversations. They were kind of making you want to be someone that you weren't, right?
Yeah, they wanted me to represent Montana in a way that was false,
Yeah.
And I mean, they wanted a guy that lived in the mountains and had long hair. Like, I just did that. Literally, I lived at a bar and a restaurant up in the mountains, and I spent years up there just hiking and rock climbing and being an outdoorsy. And then when I sold the bar, I worked on a ranch for 9 more months, just cutting firewood in the middle of nowhere. And when I showed up, I had long hair and a big beard. I didn't really talk to anybody, And this will lead into like how I started coaching and stuff too, which I know we're probably going to talk about. But that's kind of how it started.
So we'll just ask this one right off the bat. What makes your gym and coaching style different from others?
I think just my strategy. I developed this traveling around, like we were on a circuit called Grappler's Quest back in the day. It was really well established. Everybody was there every time. It was awesome. A lot of times they're in conjunction with the UFC. But my coaching style came from studying these big teams. It was me and Cubby, Sean Peters, this,
It was again,
12 to 17-year-old kid was kind of when we were traveling most of the time. And we were fighting the best teams in the, Brazilian top team, American top team, just all these guys, and Gracie Barra, and even like 10th Planet, like Eddie Bravo's guys. He was just getting to where, they started to have brown and black belts in that system around the time I was competing a lot. But I just realized right away when I watched all the pros fight, the super fights, whatever team they were from, you could watch it back to the brown, purple, blue, white belts and the kids, and they all do the same thing in every position. Like, it's very standard. And that's the thing about traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like anything else. This is how it's done, this is what it is, it kind of sets you up for people to be able to solve those problems, because it creates consistency, which you need. You need to have the construct. You know what I mean? But what I do is I play on all the variables, like if I know they won't fall in a certain situation, no matter what, because it counts as points to get swept or whatever, I would use as an opportunity to climb, really aggressively, knowing they won't drop me or fall. Because you can't slam in jiu-jitsu. If you fall, I get points, so I could climb a high guard and submit. So me and Cubby kind of just did that as a strategy. And a lot of these schools, they'd even post their curriculum online because they're so proud that they figured out what jiu-jitsu is. Right. And I've just always, I use the word exploit, but I Americanized it or whatever it is. There's a lot of people that think that way in jiu-jitsu that, there's a lot of never do that in strict Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Even I would win tournaments, like 7-8 tournaments, see my jiu-jitsu master from Brazil, show him my cool new move, and he'd be like, never do that again. I didn't show you that. That's not jiu-jitsu, And I didn't like it. I'm really creative. Like, I'm super artistic. I always have been. So, and jiu-jitsu is my art. It's, my canvas fights back now, so it's a little harder to demonstrate my brushstrokes, so to speak. But that's really what it comes from. Is I create individuals. I coach people based on their own. Everybody thinks different, has different attributes, and anyone can become really good. We've got skinny little guys with no athleticism that submit everyone in the gym. We've got big heavyweights that are super flexible, So if you just standardized everything and made everyone fight and train and do jiu-jitsu like I do, I'd have like 3 successful fighters in the last 21 years.
Right.
Instead, I have thousands of people that have had great success under my tutelage, and I believe that's because I trained them as individuals. And it's getting harder because there's more and more people, but I've grown and I've got more efficient and better. But that's how I developed my teaching strategy.
Yeah, I love it. One thing I've noticed too, so, I got a busy life. I'm thankful that you told me to open a gym right next to the grind now. It's been the best decision of my life. But going to some of your seminars, I mean, you have rows and rows of black belts and brown belts. And I mean, it's amazing to see. Do you attribute that to your coaching style?
I think so. I think a good measure of a jiu-jitsu gym, especially, like, we do everything, so it's harder to measure in the other disciplines because there's not the ranking system.
Right.
But any day, not just a belt test, but any day you can walk into the gym, there's going to be multiple black belts on the mat. That's really rare anywhere, even at large academies, and especially if they're out just rolling with whoever walks in that day. And that's kind of what my gym's all about. If you have a belt, but if you don't want to roll with like an athletic blue belt because he beats you or something, like, you have an ego issue, So I kind of make everybody train the same, but really I think it's a measure, of the consistency and the safety and the quality of our program. It keeps you engaged. It takes a minimum. If you're a world-class world champion, like 8 years to get a black belt.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. A lot of people, I just promoted a black belt that's 64 years old when he received his black belt. He's been doing it for 16, 17 years. You know what I mean? But yeah, so the standard time's like 8 to 12 years just to achieve a black belt. So you end up getting to, and I tell people all the time, like, I know we're like doing jujitsu, but we're really doing life together. If you think about it, we go through breakups, divorces, marriages, kids, moving. I've had students move across the country or the globe and then come back, years later when I thought, they were gone, and then they came back. And even that shows, there's a safety net. There's people that, leave our place. They seek it out everywhere they go around the country, and they come back and like, your place is special. I just want to be here. I moved here just to be part of your gym again. I've actually heard that quite a few times,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just, it's a really good measure of a healthy, society or whatever, community.
Yeah.
And I keep saying community because that's what I'm building,
Right.
It's not just us anymore either. We have 10 other affiliate gyms across the Montana, Wyoming, New Mexico, and Canada. And they're all kind of, using the Grindhouse ways, and I'm still the one that evaluates and promotes everybody and stuff. So, and that's what I can't wait to, where we hit a point where we're able to have summer and winter camps and we can bring everyone together. I get to go every year, travel. I see pretty much everybody at least once or twice a year.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know everyone. That's when it'll be fun,
Yeah.
Grindhouse in all 50 states.
There you go. And, that's one thing that I pride myself on, too, with Knockout Fitness Center, is we have a culture where everybody's welcome. And we want to build a community of people that are like-minded. They just want to, make themselves healthier. And you do that with, and you do more than just jiu-jitsu, but you do it with jiu-jitsu, boxing. You have kids class, which, there's some days the parking lot's full just because parents are dropping their kids off.
Yeah.
And so you started from, 4 years old?
Yep.
All the way up to a 64-year-old black belt. I
Yep.
mean, that's pretty cool. So that is community. It's pretty awesome what you do. And obviously, doing jiu-jitsu alone will get you in shape, get you healthy. But that's not the only thing to do. I want to ask you kind of, what are the 3 to 5 non-negotiable habits that you do every day?
Eat good, clean food. That's one. I will get away. I can eat anything. I still perform well. I still usually feel pretty good. My body stays pretty much the same. I'm very blessed that way. But mentally, I think that, puts a toll on me if I don't stick to my strict diet.
Yeah.
And by strict, it's not strict. It's really, really good. It's simple. I kill most of my protein, kill or catch, because we live in Montana. I'm very blessed that way. Yeah. So I eat tons of elk, bison, deer, antelope, things like that, different fish. And then I just try and eat things that are as local as possible, that are fresh, never frozen. It's not like a big secret. People get hung up on a lot of and it's good science, micro, macros. It also stresses me out. I just like to eat good, clean food. I use very minimal sauces, things like that, just salt, pepper. If I make salmon or steak, I'll add a little bit of truffle or something, for flavor. Yeah. But I think I just don't overdo anything too much in any direction with the diet. I think for me personally, if I don't give myself time, whether it's to reflect, read something, mantras, lift weights, something for myself, I have a lot harder time serving all day, being there for others. Yeah. And, this last year has been really trying for me. I'm not on a schedule. It's a constant adjustment for just personal life things. And that's been a huge challenge for me. But instead of making excuses, I do things like I can do air squats and push-ups and sit-ups anywhere I am, So I still get it in. And then I think just, probably the biggest thing to being successful is having a plan. Not when you wake up, but, the night before, write it down. Establish things that are important, All
my clients, you better be listening to this. I preach this every day.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I think I know this is kind of off of it, but it's something I'm working on right now. I'm really good at skipping the things that I need in the day to be successful, to give someone else something that they maybe can't give for themselves. And that's just a personal thing I struggle with, and a lot of people are like that. It's really easy to stop and help someone else, but end of the day, you're giving of yourself and you're emptying your cup. And that's something I've learned too from all these years of coaching. If my cup starts getting empty and I don't do anything, my advice is worthless, my instruction's worthless, my mentorship's worthless. And that's just a message I like to get to everyone. You have to be. I love my kids. I love, my relationships and my fighters and my friends. But if I go just give all the time and I don't fill it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing them a disservice, but more importantly, which should be the most important to everyone, is I'm doing myself a disservice.
Yeah.
So if you really want to be a leader, you really even want to show up for yourself, do that first. And if there's anything left over, share that with a loved one, things like that. Don't neglect your relationships, but make sure that you're fueled and you're fed and you feel ready for the day before you start giving of yourself.
I love that. Self-care, self-love.
Absolutely. It all starts there,
Yeah. And, I said this too. So, a little bit about my story. Quit drinking alcohol every day, like 7 years ago now. And that's the one thing that I realized is I was just putting everything out to everybody. And at the end of the day, I was trying to fill myself up with a drink.
Yeah.
And it would just made it worse and worse. And, it wasn't until I realized, no, I need to take care of myself so I can be the dad I want to be, the coach I want to be, the husband that I want to be. And that was
secret of success is all the stuff, that nobody ever sees that we have to do, and it takes a lot of work and effort. It's easy we're dudes, we shave our head, we can just hop up, throw on things. Right. We work out all day. We don't even have to, we can just show up, but when I show up after I've groomed myself, showered, maybe even I live right next to the river, maybe hop in the river for a minute or take a bike ride, and then I go do those things, So I think people always say they don't have time. They do. Like, set your phone down, put it in a different room when you sleep. Right. That's an easy one. Put a limit on your TV when you turn it on, I learned that from my girlfriend. She like, oh, well, we have to get sleep. I'm like, well, I'll stay up for 4 episodes if we leave the TV on. She'll just put a timer on. When it shuts off, like, okay,
bedtime.
That's that, and you just go to sleep. There's little tricks and habits you can learn to find that time, getting up an hour early, staying up an hour later. Yeah, like sleep's important, but I think it's slightly overrated as well, at least the way that we sleep these days.
For men, yeah, absolutely. I think women need a little bit more than us.
Yeah, and everyone physiologically is a little bit different. If I get more than 8, I'm lethargic.
I know, right?
If I get 7, I'm perfect. If I get 6, I'm like on fire because I'm a little on edge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to kind of, that's where I feel really good. But like I said, everybody's different. You got to find yourself, and don't attach like your habits to even your spouse or your things like that, because they could be drastically different. Instead, appreciate the individuality and the different needs, and find space for that, because that's probably where your time is. You're wasting it anyways on someone that doesn't want you around. While they're doing their thing, you could do your thing, just go find that time.
Absolutely. We'll bring it back to nutrition for a little bit, and just because I want to make a comment, you basically diet's whole foods, protein that you can, catch or kill yourself, prepare yourself. And that's really what we teach at Knockout Lifestyle too. It's called the Pick One Plan, but it's getting people away from the frozen stuff. It's go to the grocery store, get some good produce, get some, good meats.
Yep.
And try and balance your plate every day. So that's cool. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, one of my little hacks, if you remember when I was fighting, I fought professionally at 155 pounds, but I always stayed really light between camps, because back then you just had to be ready. You never knew. Now things are planned, everything's commissioned, plenty of time for fights. But I had to start like just my hack or whatever. I'd fill my plate up and I'd finish all my protein first. Then I'd go to the vegetables and the carbs last, because the way I burn calories, I'm on the mat so many hours a day. I'm a carb monster. I don't really feel the effects of it. If I don't get it, I don't have the energy to last. Same thing with like healthy fats and stuff. But I would just, that changed my physiology from a 160-pound man to a 200-pound man. Yeah. And it made everything I do athletically incredibly easier and stuff. But I had a hard time like getting the food on, and now I've got all kinds of protein hacks. I can get tons in a very little volume.
Yeah, like the
so,
frog fuel.
Yep.
Let's move over to coaching. One thing that you said to me, and tell me, you were going for a world championship, black. But what was down in Vegas?
The last one?
Yeah, your last one.
That was the ADCC World Open.
The World Open.
Yep.
And you had to fight against a Russian guy who was...
Yeah, hadn't been beat, I think, in like 7 years or something like that. But yeah, I had preliminary matches. I was able to fairly easily submit everybody. The best part of the story is that I trained like 7 hours that summer. Like my back went out. Like I wasn't even doing it. I just like stepped off a step and I'm like, So that whole summer I really wasn't on the mat. I didn't train, but I'd already, signed up to do this thing. And the thing with the ADCCs is, it's every 2 years that they have the Worlds. And this was the first time they've ever had a Masters Worlds, which just is an age group thing. And I've been doing the ADCCs since I think 2014. Living it. It's like what I dream. It's like my Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome to get to go there. I made it to the finals. Right away, I'd watched film on this guy a million times. I know what he does. I'm good at what he does. I'm good at defeating what he does. I passed his guard immediately. He replaced. I had to do like a Toreando back step. I took his back, and he, did a nice transition right into the position he wanted to play. It's called lockdown, and this with an underhook. And second he locked it down, my knee just tore, and like it was, basically dislocated. I had to traction it and get it to sit right so I could get up and move after the match. But I knew that right away. But with the position, because he has, 2 legs around mine and he's tensioning it a lot, he's holding on to me, so I don't have to really pin him down or anything. So, but it's also hard. I can't switch my hips or progress any of my jiu-jitsu. So I just I'm known for my pressure game anyways. Like that's why they call me the grinder. I just, my teammates gave me that because I'm really good at smashing you. So I just did that. I smashed him the whole match. I kept trying to punch choke him, just like holding behind his head from like a mounted position, trying to punch choke. And initially in the match, before we went to the ground, I'd actually grabbed his wrist just to like test to see how strong he'd be for a Kimura, which is one of my best finishing techniques. And when I grabbed his wrist, man, he pulled his hand back, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm so used to being the stronger grappler. He is way stronger than me. But anyways, through that match, I felt him start. I could see all the veins in his head. He's bright red. I mean, I'm surprised he's not unconscious from the chokes yet, but he's just a tough guy. And so I decided to go down, and I'm just going to test the Kimura like on the way down just to see his arm, because I like to set off alarms in people instead of just go to one thing where they can focus. I'll tap it. They'll start to defend. I'll let it go, tap the toes, and then come back to it. And a lot of times they like help me with the submission. So that's what I was trying to do. I tapped the Kimura. I was like, it's weak. Like I can finish it. And I'm sitting here looking at the clock, 20 seconds left, and we go where it's 0-0. We'd go to overtime, and I'm sitting here thinking I can't stand up. If the ref sees it, he might just call it. I'm like, I don't want to lose. So, like I said, I went back, I tapped that Kimura, and I grabbed his ankle that he's holding me in lockdown, just tore on it as hard as I could, and he just scream tapped. I ended up, tearing his ankle to pieces with that. Tapped, I submit him, I roll over, everyone's excited. My teammates are on the side, Lane and Townsley, and Ryan was there too. But and then I'm like, I can't stand up. I tractioned my knee, it popped a little, I stood up, swelled up, big as could be. But I'd accomplished what I consider my lifelong goal. I've been an MMA champion multiple times. I've won Grappler's Quest Worlds, before. But the ADCCs, like I said, is my Super Bowl. I think it's the pinnacle of all grappling on earth, and I'm currently a world champion. They fight for him again, I think, in Poland in September. Same thing. I want to go so bad, but it's elk archery season.
Yeah.
I think we're booking Hayden the 19th, the next weekend. So like we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I'd rather have 10 students win than me anymore. I've got my goals accomplished, I would say.
Yeah, so one thing about that, and it was either the day you were leaving or the day before you were leaving, I was like, hey, coach, you ready for this? And you looked at me like, you looked intense. You're like, I'm going to win or I'm going to die on that mat. And I believed you. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
cow. I'm like, he's serious. Like,
I meant it.
he's going to go out there, and if he doesn't win, he's going to die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is my coach who's in my corner. Like, that gave me, like, I don't know what it gave me, dude, but it gave me the confidence that, hey, if he's in my corner backing me, I can take on anybody. And really, that was kind of the start of our bare-knuckle journey.
Yeah.
And it was pretty sweet. So with that, what makes you, or what made you want to become a coach? What made you want to do all this?
Yeah. Layers to it. My dad, real young, said no matter where I was, what the activity was, I'd always be helping somebody that was struggling. It's just a natural thing for me. And then like with things, like I generally stand back and watch things and study them. And I've done this since I was a child. And then I can just do it. Like I'm like, okay, that's it. Oh, he fell really bad doing that. Don't do that. And I kind of put a construct in my mind, and then I can do it. So that happened. And then through high school, like I always tried to kind of be like a quiet loner a little bit. I wrestled and stuff and was semi-popular, but like I kind of like just doing my thing. And there's always a group would show up, and like my house was always the hangout. And so I was kind of a leader in that way for whatever reason. Went to the military, same thing. I'm like, I'm just going to lay low. I'm going to get, just do this. I'm going to have some experiences, but I'm just going to, I don't want to stand out. Ended up being in charge of 65 people in my division, and doing a really cool, important job, and got really good at leadership. I had some tremendous people like Paulo around me that showed me how to lead, especially lead really tough human beings, which is why I'm also good at this. And then when it came to like the fighting part of it, like I mentioned earlier, I just came off the ranch. I just wanted to, same thing, I'd been a boss of a business. I'd been in charge of that ranch, and I'm like, I just want to just be one of the guys. I'm going to leave my hair long. I'm going to not talk to anyone. I'm not even going to mention my name. And I trained for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks later, we're sitting there after practice, and Terrell's up front talking. He's like, we need a team captain. Someone raises their hand. I nominate Will. I'm like, how's that? Dude, know my name,
Yeah.
And then another guy, I second that. And then everyone raises their hands. And on the moment, I'm like, what do you mean? And then the team captain taught classes and those things. So I was really just put into it after like 2 weeks of training. I think I just like beat Little Coyote, though. That was 5-0 in 22 seconds. So they're like, this is our guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to fight. Like I'd been in a lot of fights. I had success in some fights. I also been beat up. But I knew I didn't know how to fight. That was one of the things, like being a military person. I visited, I boarded ships and zip-tied people and did those things. They never taught us how to fight. That was the scariest thing for me, Like I'm supposed to be out being this military badass, and I try and tell that just because you're in the military, even most special forces, they don't know how to fight either. Yeah. Or you'd see Navy SEALs would win all the UFC titles. They usually don't. They're really good at team things. They're good at individual things, and stuff like that. But sorry,
that was it. Just kind of your journey becoming a coach.
Yeah. So it was that pretty much. And then, I think I secretly started enjoying it more than fighting for myself, because I never fought. I didn't want to get famous. I was like fighting some demons. I didn't want to ever be scared, because I was kind of a little wild. I like adrenaline things, rock climbing, whitewater rafting, bar fighting, which isn't a great sport. That's why I found somewhere safe to do it, where they celebrate you. And then, I remember the first two guys, it was actually Leonardo Valenzuela and Justin Walker. They were both two kids from Shepherd, 15, 16 years old. And they're the first ones after I started teaching at Fusion that like, hey, after class, do you have a few minutes? I'm like, sure. And it wasn't jujitsu or fighting; it was life stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And so yeah, I started at that point in time, like starting to intentionally mentor them and give them life advice. You know, I was so far ahead of them with my life experience, I could help them out a little bit. And then it started to become more and more and more. And yeah, I just fell in love with it, you know.
Yeah.
And as much as I say I didn't want the gym, I didn't want the responsibility of the gym because I was trying to be a selfish fighter, which you kind of have to be sometimes, you know,
Right.
go home and rest and recover and not do your training and then help someone else, you know. That's why what you do is even more impressive because you are doing that and you have 5 kids and all that. But yeah, it just, I remember I had my chance to like go to the UFC or stay and keep the gym open because I was at those crossroads and I chose the people at the gym over the people that didn't know me that would know somebody that wasn't me, you know,
Yeah.
on those other things. So, but yeah, now coaching is the most natural thing to me, and I think it's probably my best blessing I've ever had.
Yeah. So being a coach and coaching adults, coaching fighters, there could be a misconception about what you do and what you are as a coach. What's the biggest misconception that you've had to deal with?
Um, that I have finite control over these individuals and the
Right.
humans and their entire lives. You know, a lot of people put that kind of pressure on me that they did something or they're doing something or they went somewhere, drove a certain way. Like, I think that's a big thing is that,
You're
you
not
know,
their parent. You're their
no,
coach,
and there
right?
is that in the industry, it's not incorrect to where the coach controls the fighter's life. That's really most people that are world champions. That is the case. They're in a camp. They're taken away from their family. You literally wake up when I say, you sleep when I say, everything's measured and calculated. And that's one way to do it, right? I like free will. I try and explain to people, look at what I do. I do it with people that they have to, I can't make them come here. If they don't show up, I don't even call them because it is free will.
Yeah.
I'm there to help you if you want to be helped, you know, but end of the day, you have to fight. You have to live with your things. And that's like one way that I mentor through, which, you know, statistically can ruin my fight percentage wins, but I'll let people lose fights if they didn't do the work, and I'll use it as a teachable moment, you know, as to where most people, they'd rather figure out a way to make them successful anyways to make yourself look good. And I don't really care, you know. I mean, I want people to, I think we've done enough to people know we're good at fighting and we're consistent, and sometimes people, even your own guys, need to get their ass kicked. You know.
Well, I mean, I know that was my biggest eye opener is when I didn't have you with me, and this guy called me out in Canada, and I went up there by myself. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this alone ever again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of when I got by your side and stayed by your side, and it's been a heck of a journey.
Yeah.
So you're my coach, you're my manager, and you're doing a heck of a job, dude. I love it. Like the opportunities that you're giving me has been unbelievable. What can you? And I don't know how much you can talk about this, but what is like? What's a day in the life of like when you're like, oh yeah, these fighters they need a fight. Like, what do you have to do to get these guys?
I
Fights.
mean, it's I'm sure it's a lot like I'm selling a product, you know. It helps if the fighters are active on social media, if they, you know, have a good persona online, if they're out doing the right things, you know. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, but it is a hustle, you know. It is a business of favors and things, you know. And honestly, being like, especially locally, that's easier to talk about with like have a huge regional promotion that's right out of our town,
Yeah.
you know, and we provide a lot of fighters there. So the negotiations for fights are a lot easier there to like, and I've never asked for an easy fight for anybody, but there's some times where I'll force them into hard fights 3-4 times in a row that are above their pay grade, you know, really, but I want to capture the experience for them as an amateur or something. So like when I do that to some guys, you know, I could call a promoter and say like, we just gave you three, like no one in the country wants to fight those guys. We just fought all three of them. Can we fight an equal, someone like kind of where he is, and just give him an actual swinging chance? And I always believe they can beat anyone because there's always strategies.
Yep.
There's, when we fought Perdomo, you took him further than anyone. It was impossible until you proved it wasn't, So it's not that I set my people up to lose or fail or like get easy fights. It's a balance of all of that thing, because you push someone so hard, they think they're not good. I'm like, no, you're doing things no one will do. And when you go pro, man, it's still not going to be easy, but you're going to be prepared.
Yeah,
Where a lot of these guys, I think it's the coaching when they have influence or they're a good manager, they get you really soft, easy fights, and not to pick on O'Malley. He's amazing. I am a huge fan now. When he was here, I really wasn't. I think I felt like we had a better fighter, stickman in the gym that we couldn't get a fight with. But, when you remember he made it to the UFC and he had some really sweet things on the way there and then a 2-year break, right? And like, I don't know how everything works for sure, but it was like, he failed a drug test. I don't feel like just looking at him, I don't think he did. I think they decided to use that as a reason, develop him for 2 more years after he got a base in there, And like I said, taking nothing away from him, I'm learning from him and his coach now. I'm not ever talking anything bad about him. But that was just one route, that 2 years when he could have been really active. When he finally made it, he had to pull back and get ready to be there.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, and I'd rather have you ready to be there than put you in over your head and hope you develop.
Yeah.
I refuse to do that with fighters.
Yeah.
But
and
maybe,
it worked out
maybe
for
it's
Sean
a strategy
O'Malley,
that, maybe I should just throw some guys in some deep water and see if they can swim, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a journey. So one of the coolest things about this is, a fight fell out for me September 24, and then bare knuckle was coming around the corner. If that fight wouldn't have fallen out, I probably wouldn't have taken that bare knuckle.
Yeah.
Right. And then from that moment forward, dude, it's been a fun ride. Drew, been the striking coach. He puts in a lot of time, that nobody sees. It's, one-on-ones with a lot of the fighters.
And that takes a lot of toll and damage. He's limping around right now trying to do his thing because everyone beats him up. But
and then consistently every week you got classes going through the grindhouse. But, I think the community that you've made and the culture there is just like everyone understands what's going on. Now you got, like I said, you got me, number 4 in the world. You got Bryant, who's number 1 in the world, who he has a main event coming up in like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, August 8th at Sturgis, South Dakota. Yeah, I get a corner of the co-main event. Brady Meister, one of your old opponents on there too, which I'm honored to do. So just look at what we've done in 3 years of Sturgis. We went from being on a preliminary card at Sturgis to having the main event, the main and the co-main event, and a preliminary because AJ's on that card as well. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah,
it's awesome. And I'm excited to see where it takes us. I don't know how long I have, but I know with you in my corner, dude, we're gonna take it as long as I can.
Oh yeah, man. I don't think we're gonna go anywhere till we get that strap, and then we'll still beat a few guys up. So,
all right, let's talk about. I think what people want to talk about, the experience, like traveling for fighting. Like when I was fighting and it was local fusion or Thursday night fights, everything here, it was fun, and still you get the nerves, you get everything. But now we're traveling 3 days before the fight. We're doing media days. We got to stay in a hotel room together. We're living a dream. Like, tell me, like, on in your mind, what's the best part about traveling with the fighter? Like,
I think it is weird. Like here, we're just like, oh yeah, it's Terrell, it's fights. Like everyone knows everyone, so it's no big deal. But people travel from all over the country to Fusion. They're like, this is a huge deal. I can't believe I made it, But when we're spoiled a little with that. But I think like for us going to these bigger shows, for me as a coach, my most exciting part, and I've had these moments with you, Shane, Bryant, like you get out and you spend enough time around at these big shows and these big superstars, like they're just people.
Yeah.
They're just like you. They're not special. They've done the work and they decided to go lay it all out there for everyone to see. They've made a choice. And a lot of the other reason I like bare knuckle too, and like the traveling with it, is it's not a perfection sport like MMA, to where like, oh, you lost once, bye. Like, what do you mean? This is the hardest sport in the world,
Yeah.
And there, man, as long as you don't quit, as long as you don't cower or turn away, you're always gonna have a job there. That's what something like I love, because that's what life's like, man. Like technicality, I win, like, man, that's what our society is coming to. You see people all the time. We had like Aljamain Sterling. I love to respect him, incredible fighter. I never can now, because he took a world championship on a technicality.
Yeah.
Like, just get beat up that day, they'll give you an instant rematch, win it the right way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he wasn't fouled on or whatever, but there's those moments of integrity, or those moments of, for me, I don't, and I know I'm getting off tangent, like, but why accomplish a small goal if it's not hard and you're injured and there's all this things, like, now you just, I did a camp, it went perfect, I won a fight, it went perfect, and there's no story. But if and that sometimes, like, we got delayed 8 hours in the airport, we traveled across the country, sat there all the way to weigh-ins with Perdomo the first time, didn't weigh in. And we learned it. We used it all as a learning experience. We watch people. We watch body mannerisms. We watched his opponent that day not want to be there. Yeah. He'd already lost. And it gave me opportunities to coach and tell you, like, look at this guy's a world champion 2 times, and he doesn't want to fight this fight. He's showing up just to get punched once, take a knee, and go home. Like, you're not like that. You'll never be like that. You're better than these guys. That was Adams, I think, that did that. But and that's just what it is. And then and I think I saw another level of that, and these are my favorite things, and I'm finally answering your question, when we're sitting there with Lorenzo, and he's like, no, man, I'm scared to death every time. Right. I think of myself like I'm a piece of glass, and I can't let this bro like break my glass, And I just, maybe it was more me than you, but like, oh my God, like, he's scared too.
Yeah, the one I consider the most violent guy in the sport.
And even when you're around him in the hallway, you're like, just kind of step back, because you don't know, he goes off everywhere, And but that's, I think, his persona and why he gets paid what he does, and he is an incredible fighter. He's the only guy that gets knocked down like 3 times in every big fight, and then cleans the guy out, dude. Like, just takes everything from him. But I think that's my favorite part, is just like, we are special. I believe Montana, like, it's just where we live. We're so blessed. We can have the calmest souls. I believe we're the toughest people, because of our environmental things and just the traditional ideas of Montana. Because I've been all over the world. I fought people from all over the world, like the eastern bloc of Montana. Nothing wrong with the western side either, but it's tougher than the eastern bloc of Europe, where all these fighters are coming out of. The difference is those guys want to flee their home because it sucks, and our guys live on these amazing ranches and are bull they have so much to do. It's easy to be comfortable here in Montana and stuff like that, and not go strive to do big things, but if I can, that's why I'm putting all these little gyms. I want to pull these guys off their ranches and just show the world for 5 years of their life, like, who we are, because we're the toughest humans on earth. I truly believe that.
Yeah, one of the coolest things was when we went down to Florida, and it was Yoel Romero. Like, we were in a fighter meeting, and I'm just sitting there, and then you like nudge me, and you're like, dude, Yoel. It's right there. Yeah. And literally, Yoel Romero was sitting right next to me. Yeah. Like, I watched that guy in the UFC freaking for years. And, and now he could be fighting on the same card as me. And I didn't get a fight on that card, but we got to watch him on his front row, watch him beat Theo. But, yeah, that was fun. So we went to Rapid City. That was like the first kind of traveling for me in my fight. And AJ was there. We had both Drew and Drew. And that was like one of the funnest trips I've ever had. And, just little Rapid City, it was a Sturgis fight. With that, like, what can we explain to like the average person who thinks that we just show up and fight? Like, what is it like?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're a heavyweight, so it's the most stressful part of the whole thing's not there. But yeah,
Right.
typically, we're showing up with a depleted fighter.
Like AJ has to cut
Yeah,
weight.
AJ, he's usually
Brian has to cut weight.
yeah, Bryant cuts a lot of weight and he does it, kind of towards the end. Everyone has their things, but yeah, so yeah, the camp's not over. The hardest part of camp's the 3 days before, because not only are you showing up depleted, you're on edge. It's getting real. It's getting close, and then you start getting interviewed and photographed, and you're around all these famous people. Even though you're one of them, you don't think of yourself that way. So even that's like a stressor. So yeah, I think for me as a coach, making sure that I keep your head right, I keep you focused. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to care about. Everybody hits you up in the last 48 hours, like, hey man, like I want to come to your fight. Can you get me a ticket?
Right.
And they write the fighter, not the manager or somebody else that's not involved. So, those are the things I think like people don't think about. Your mental state and all of those things. Like it's overwhelming the amount of attention that you get, and we get a rest for a little while, and then we have to be somewhere, and we have to find good food, so your diet stays on point and you're healthy. So it's mostly those things. And then what I've been getting better at these last several years, we're traveling a lot more, is like getting out, like hitting mitts, up on the top floor in Denver, or we still haven't made it to the beach in Florida because it's always freaking monsoon when we're there. But but just things like that, like Philly, we took AJ went and hit mitts up by the Rocky statue at Drew early in the morning one morning, so yeah, I think yeah, and then just the camaraderie. I just recently got to travel with Drew and his band to go play Red Rocks and another place up in the mountains the next day, Dillon Amphitheater. And it was really similar, everybody, except for no one's like, they're not stressed out about having to play. They're like, yeah, we're going to do the thing that we're like the best at here. And like, no one's going to punch us or anything. So like, it's a totally chill vibe the whole time. But it kind of made me proud too, because I think our trips are like that. Like this is who we are. This is what we do. This is normal, and for me, I think being there with you and watching it normalize and stuff like that. I think that's when we're gonna start, because a lot of the years doing this, I just did the thing. And I never looked around. I didn't take the picture. I didn't shake the hand. I didn't network, and that's something that I'm getting better at. And it's more enjoyable for you guys, like who we're rubbing elbows with.
Yeah, it's freaking.
Brian's in Denver training with Chris Camozzi, a guy we've been trying to fight for 2 years for his belt, but he retired now. But yeah, that's just so cool.
Getting tips from Lorenzo Hunt, a day before my fight. Like, and there's something about it. Like, like I said, the first trip I had was Sturgis, and then we went to Florida. I was supposed to go to New Jersey. That didn't happen. But, like, for some reason, somewhere along the way, like, it rubbed off on me that, no, I am one of these guys. And that has to be, you coaching me. And really, when we got to Denver, I heard so many people say, man, you look confident. Like, you look ready to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to beat this guy. There's no way he's going to touch me. And I ended up breaking my hand in the first round. And I wasn't even going to let that stop me because I knew I was going to win that fight. A few weeks later, ranked number 5 in the world, now number 4. So, I mean, it's been a fun ride, and I think it's only going to get better.
Oh, here. Absolutely.
And we got the young kids coming up too. I mean, they're getting their opportunities. Like, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, next gen's insane, man. They're you guys are just paving the way for them. Creating these opportunities that they know it's possible. So thank you for all your work and dedication, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, wouldn't be here without you. So, people that don't know, Knockout Lifestyle, Knockout Fitness. It was created because this guy kind of talked me into it. I was running 9 round at the time, and the studio next to yours opened up, and you're like, hey, you want to put a gym next door?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how, but it was the best decision of my life. I mean, it's been fun. And, getting to know you more.
Yeah.
And just the culture that you have, I mean, it's contagious. And I think that's a lot of the reason why Knockout is so successful is because, hey, we're just here to help you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where where you're at in life, we're here to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what you get at the Grindhouse too.
Yeah, a lot of people think you got to come in at the peak of your fitness to
Right.
start and stuff. And like you could go run ultra marathons, triathlons, be a world class sprinter, even a good wrestler. Like you're going to get gassed in my sport. Just come do the sport. It'll make you better. And that's, I mean, we have people with mental health issue, like all different things, all walks of life, all level of athleticism, and you don't have to be. My best fighters are generally not the best athletes. They're the ones that show up the most.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works,
Consistent.
But yeah, anybody can do this, and you can enjoy it any way you can too. You don't have to be the fighter, but you can be there with them,
Absolutely.
and just give what you can where you can, and live through these guys a little bit. I mean, that's what I do. It's awesome, just to be part of what you guys are doing.
If you have one story from traveling across the country with fighters, what's your favorite part so far? I mean, you got to go to Philly with AJ. That's pretty epic, dude.
AJ's like culmination of everything he's ever tried to do came together in one night.
Yeah.
Perfect fight against the perfect opponent in the 2300 arena.
Yeah.
It's is where like wrestling began, like ring wrestling began. You could smell the iron on the cement when you walked in this building, and just absolutely iconic spot. The thing about that venue is they use the really small circle ring for that. There's nowhere to go. Luckily, they're 35ers, so we could get around Travis that night. But yeah, I mean, there was the highs and the lows of that night. The lows were just like fear because I had my wife and children out in the stands, and I'm looking out. I'm like, there's nothing but like dock workers that just stabbed someone everywhere, and we're beating up their favorite guy. And the fans, they were amazing. We actually had to exit because we didn't want to take the vans back. We wanted to go somewhere else for dinner, so we exited the front, and same thing, just kind of got surrounded instantly, and everyone was just handshakes and hugs. And in a violent sport, even the fans in the roughest parts of the country, Philadelphia docks, they're, because we do the violence in the cage, like you can be kind outside of it. Everything's already decided. We just did it. There's nothing to argue about. If anything, just like be relieved. Like, well, now we know, but that's probably my favorite part is, with the fighting, with jiu-jitsu, combat sports in general, like everywhere you go, if you fight humans daily, like as an activity of your life, you have a family everywhere on earth that's going to, be very different than you in a lot of ways, but you have something you connect with. It's a universal language. I think that's why fighting's like soccer's, a lot of people like it. It's not for everyone. Everybody fights in every culture since the beginning of time. And I think that is the global sport, and that's what I love, is being part of it and just having that kind of reinforced as I travel with you guys. I get to meet amazing people and always have community everywhere I go.
Right. And that's one thing, like, even though I lost to Perdomo, everybody was picking me up. And that was the coolest thing. I thought I was going to get booed out I was getting booed walking up.
Oh, yeah.
But afterwards, everyone was cheering me on, dude. They were picking me up.
You remember the Cubans in the locker room before the fight?
Oh, yeah.
Coming to say they're on your side. And they don't do that. They were very, very proud, down there.
That was pretty cool.
You won them over. My other favorite moment, I almost said, because I'm sitting here looking at you, was when we walked by Perdomo's locker room, and he was giving an interview after your fight. I don't remember if I was running or if you were with me, but I heard him say the word like, yeah, tonight we find out I'm just human.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like I think I must have heard that on my own. I couldn't wait to tell you.
Yeah.
And I did see it on the interview later. But that was like, it reminded me of Rocky IV, like Ivan Drago, like he's just a man.
Yeah.
And you prove that to everybody. Right. And like, you won the hearts of everyone in the industry that night doing what you did.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And now if we fought him again, I know you'd beat him because I know now. He's just a man.
He's just a man.
Yeah.
Yep. It's great. All right. So we're out of time, but I'm going to want to do some rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
All right. These are fun. Coffee or energy drinks?
Spark from Avocare every morning for the last 20 years.
Right? Yeah,
That's
I've never
the only
seen you have
stimulant
coffee.
I really use.
I've
Yeah.
never seen you have an energy drink, Spark. Okay. Favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Favorite exercise?
Rolling, like doing jujitsu live. Yeah.
Least favorite conditioning?
Running. Yeah. I tell people all the time I haven't ran since I learned how to fight.
Right. Favorite fighter of all time?
Dan Henderson.
Okay.
Yeah, Hendo.
I love it. And then you almost fought, what's that guy that was supposed to fight over in Philly? Frankie Edgar.
Oh,
You almost.
yeah. Yeah, I had a super fight in jiu-jitsu or super match in Boise, Idaho with him. And, yeah, he refused to do the match after we met.
Well, he saw you, saw how big you
Yeah,
were.
I called him on it years later in New Jersey when I was there for ADCCs, and he confirmed it, and his manager bought a meal for me and my other competitors, so that was sweet. But I love Frankie, huge fan. Would have loved the honor to, especially jiu-jitsu. Like, I think I would have beat him.
Yeah. Okay, so out of all the professional fighters, who would be your dream fighter to coach?
I mean, right now I'd probably pick Gable Stevenson.
Okay.
As the hottest up and coming guy.
And he seems like a good dude too.
John Jones is there to have a guy that's actually pretty strong on integrity and doing all the things. And John Jones, in my opinion, he's going to make everything he did wrong.
Yep.
He's going to make it right through this guy being his coach and mentor and I think he's going to break every record John had. I think and DC and all those guys like this. I think we are going to watch like a Michael Jordan of our sport come through here. And I could be wrong, but I just haven't seen that level of athleticism. I don't think he's as skilled as a lot of fighters out there, and we haven't seen him against A-list guys yet, which is smart of them. But yeah, I think that's something that's going to be really, really special to watch.
Yeah. You know, what's really cool about him, for being an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time national champion wrestler, he's very humble. Mm. I mean, on the microphone, he seems like a little kid still, you know, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, I think he has, from all of his success, he has perspective. He's actually has had the chance to step back, watch guys like John, watch him, like, oh my God, but, Yeah. So yeah, I think he is the whole package, and time will prove us right or wrong, things happen. But I think if I had to go, you get one guy that's active right now to coach, it's him.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite recovery tool?
Epsom salt bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you weren't coaching, what would you be doing today?
I'd probably be running a multi-million-dollar gold mine operation in Alaska or something like that.
There you go. One book everyone should read.
The Mountain Is You.
The Mountain Is You. Ooh, I like that one. I give that to a lot of my female clients. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, it is narrated if you do the Audible by a female. Yeah. But I love that book. I re-listen to it and advise it quite often.
Okay, and then last one. One piece of advice for someone who is feeling stuck.
Get up and take one step. If that's all you got, at least you got up and you did one step. It has to start somewhere. Don't try and do it all. Just get up and take the first step, and the next day take a step again, maybe two.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you, Will. Yeah. It's been a pleasure. This is fun, a little bit different for us, but I enjoyed it.
I appreciate you having me, Corey.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Get Healthy 406. This podcast is brought to you by Billings Launchpad Creative Studios. And if you're interested in doing your own podcast, I would recommend checking them out. You can check out their website at blpcreativestudios.com. And if you want to learn more about Knockout Lifestyle, fitness, and nutrition coaching, you can follow me, Corey Willis, on Facebook, or Instagram is Corey What You Talking About Willis, or check out our website, knockoutlifestyle.com. And as always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, comment, and share this with a friend.